Hey everyone, and welcome to my virtual presentation of the Silver Leadership Challenge Expo online. I named mine a Hunger for Growth because this was really a big focus of my community service. I learned a lot about food insecurity, and that's something that I feel like I am definitely passionate about. So throughout my slides, you'll definitely see various mentions about that. And then, as you can see, I chose a food-related PowerPoint theme to kind of reflect back upon my experience in silver leadership, and I kind of thought that that tied it together very nicely. So stay tuned, and you'll learn a little bit more about my experience in the Silver Leadership Challenge. So upon beginning my silver leadership experience, I definitely had a number of goals in mind. And I definitely feel that throughout my time learning as myself as a leader, I definitely was able to address these goals, and I am very happy where I am with them as of right now. And definitely sitting down one-on-one for my first coaching session with Meredith helped me kind of come to terms with these things, and I was able to sit down with her and really think futuristically and really envision myself to where I am now, having conquered these goals and met them. And I definitely feel like this really played a huge part in my satisfaction in the Silver Leadership Challenge. And it wasn't necessarily easy, and I don't think it's meant to be easy because it is a challenge, but I think I am definitely better off for it. So the first was to stand up for myself as a leader, and this is definitely something that I feel like I have struggled with in leadership positions, is really to be like more assertive and be more vocal with things that I believe in, or that I want to propose to other people. So I feel like me being able to accept that this was something that I needed to address a little bit more really put me in the right position to be able to work on it. And I definitely feel that within my leadership positions that I have in the community, so for example, being on the executive board of my sorority, I was able to really practice this and be able to tell others that I was working with my ideas and where I stood in various areas. And I was able to do it in a way that was definitely very relaxed. I was not offensive to anybody at all. And I think that was something that I was worried about, coming off as being mean or not being sensitive to others. So I think it was very valuable for me to learn to be able to stand up for myself and be able to speak my mind, but without seeming unpleasant or angry to others. And I definitely feel like I am at the point where I feel like I could address things with other people in a very professional and relaxed way. And then the last one was to challenge myself in the area of community engagement. And I definitely feel like I was able to do that. And you'll learn a little bit more about where I volunteered and what I got out of it. But those are some goals that I definitely feel like I was able to reach with the help of my coach. And I'm really excited to see what will come of them. An area of growth for me was definitely more in the personal area, and more specifically, growing in cultural awareness, which is something that I think that I'm definitely passionate about. And this is something that can be seen in my professional development hours. I engaged in a lot of the Hispanic Heritage Month festivities that happened in October, and that way I was able to learn more about issues such as immigration and discrimination that people face while they're here in the United States as immigrants. And it's something that I myself could never understand from my perspective, but being able to hear from other people who have gone through things like this definitely helped me to gain a new perspective, and be able to put myself in someone else's shoes. And I think that this also helped to bring me a little bit out of my comfort zone, because this is not something that I would typically do just on a regular day without some sort of driving force behind it, which of course the Silver Leadership Challenge is what kind of drove me towards this and really sparked my interest in all of this. And it definitely was a huge payoff. I feel like I was able to learn so much, and I was able to share in a culture that's different from my own, but still be able to appreciate it and appreciate the music and the food and the language and the people. And I think that is something that really opened my eyes, and I have grown a lot in that area. And of course, we have the pinnacle of the whole silver leadership experience, and that is community engagement. So for me, I knew that I wanted to do something with food insecurity. It's something that has piqued my interest for a really long time. And actually, as a freshman, I took a course, an English course, that was all about food insecurity. I learned a lot about the statistics, I learned a little bit more about what it means. And food insecurity isn't simply just not having access to food, it's having access to food that may not be completely nutritional. So maybe it doesn't have the elements of a perfectly balanced nutritional diet, but I mean, some people are forced to eat things that are maybe a little bit less nutritional because of money issues. So it's not just not having access to food, but it's the only food that you can access isn't entirely good for you. And I think this is a very interesting distinction to be able to make. And I knew that I really wanted to do something in this field because this is also something that I have dealt with in my life before, so I know how it can feel. Just kind of like that dark place of not entirely knowing like what you're going to eat, and even if you can, like how good is it going to be for you. So the Spartan Open Pantry really gave me the opportunity to be able to be welcoming to other people who were going through things that were really similar to what I have gone through. And I think it is really important to have that welcoming and confidential experience for them because there definitely can be a lot of shame that comes with it, and there shouldn't be, but society tells us that there is. So I think being able to just smile and be kind and understanding to all of the people that were coming in was something that I was able to implement and something I was really honored to be able to do. And then also through my community engagement, I learned that the people that you pass on the street might be dealing with things that you could never imagine. I mean, it really could be, you know, the girl who you see in Biology 101. It could be your teacher. It could be the person that you pass in the cafeteria. You really never know people's situations and what they're going through. So it's always good just to be kind to everyone and just to smile and really just make someone's day, because at the end of the day, you're accountable for your own actions, and spreading kindness doesn't cost you anything. And this is something that not only do I want to implement here through the Silver Leadership Challenge, but I plan to implement it through the rest of my life. And I'm really excited to take the things that I have learned about food insecurity and food banks and nutrition and things like that, and be able to implement it all the way throughout my life and help other people as they are struggling in theirs. So I kind of touched on this a little bit in my previous slide, but this is going to be talking a little bit about my personal motivation. And as I mentioned before, I have dealt with food insecurity, so I know how it can be, and I know how dark it can get. And it can just be really embarrassing and discouraging. And I really want to do everything that I can possibly do to help out because I am fortunate enough to now be out of that situation. And I am in a much better position. And that's all I want for other people because everyone deserves to have access not only to just food in general, but nutritional food that will fuel their bodies and make them feel good. And I think it's just really important to be able to speak for people whose voices are not being heard, just to be an advocate for everyone because everyone deserves to have an equal experience in life, I think. And sometimes their voices get lost. And I would love to be someone who speaks up for them, who goes out of my way to help people rather than just being like, oh, that's super unfortunate. But like actually going out and doing actions to help them, I think is the difference because you can recognize a problem, but if you just turn a blind eye to it, you know, you haven't really helped anything. So when you see something that's wrong or you see something that's unfortunate, oftentimes there is something that you can do, even if it is just to smile at someone or donate a couple cans to a food bank of some nutritional vegetables, things like that. I think that everyone has the power to make a difference, and this is something that really, really motivates me. And also the fact that food insecurity is not understood completely by many people. Because if you don't deal with it, you don't really know what it's like. You don't know the ins and outs of it. So, a big thing that I think I would like to take on is educating other people and just showing how important it is to me and being able to spark that love for change in other people. And last but certainly not least, I have my future goals. So, as I've mentioned, I think in several other slides, food insecurity isn't something that I just want to focus on for Silver Leadership Challenge. It's something that I really want to focus on for really the rest of my life. And I mean, there's food banks in pretty much every city, so I know wherever I end up, I'll be able to continue to volunteer. I'm hoping that things start to open back up because there is a food bank that I have volunteered with right here in Charlotte where I live. And it has been a really, really awesome experience, and I love being able to go and help out there. As of right now, their volunteer log is a little bit limited just because of obviously COVID-19 and everything. But once everything opens back up, I definitely plan to devote my time to volunteering there, and then of course the Spartan Open Pantry as well in the fall when the semester starts back up again. I also plan to organize some food drives. This is something that I've done before. As I mentioned, I took a class in food insecurity, and basically our end of term project was to do like a food bank, and it was honestly a lot of fun. It was really exciting to be able to organize it and just be able to help other people. And this is something that I definitely want to look into. And honestly, I'd love to implement this also within my leadership roles. Um, so being in Chi Omega, I'm thinking that maybe I could do like a Panhellenic food drive, which I think would be a really awesome way for us to experience Greek unity and also to help other people in the process. And community service is something that I take very seriously and something that I 100% want to implement through the rest of my life. I also would like to strive for more professional development. So, like going to the Hispanic Heritage Month and then some other workshops that I went to, I think that really opened my eyes to all of the options that there are out there just to better myself and to learn about other people, even if sometimes maybe I'm a little bit shy or it's a little out of my comfort zone. I think the payoff is way more important, and I definitely plan to do more of those. And then lastly, I plan to challenge myself as a leader every single day and make sure that I'm constantly keeping myself in check. And I think this is something that's really valuable because, even going through silver leadership, like it's not just like a checkbox, like, yes, you're a leader now. It's something that I think you have to learn throughout your life every single day because you're going to face all different kinds of challenges as a leader. So it's always good to make sure that you are keeping up with it, keeping yourself in check, and constantly engaging in activities that will challenge your leadership. Overall, I think that the Silver Leadership Challenge taught me so much, and I have enjoyed every aspect of it. I loved my coaching sessions. Meredith, you are amazing. And honestly, just always made me feel like so welcomed and understood. And really, this whole experience has been life changing, and I'm kind of bummed that I can't present a big poster board in front of everyone, but I'm glad that I'm still able to speak my mind. I'm thankful for the technology that we have so that I am able to still do this presentation, and I am beyond excited to see where all of this is going to take me in the future.